Hello and welcome to Scrapping on the Fly. My name is Kristen and I am here with July's CraftIQ with JQ Crafty. And I am excited because I decided that this month I was going to try and do each layer one at a time. Try and do it the day she dished it out. And for the most part, I did pretty good, except I finished the sequins today and that was a few days after she gave us the prompt, but I did not start a new prompt or look at the new prompt until I had already created whatever layer she had given us. So I didn't cheat. So I picked the Vicki Boutin because the first thing was to use a paper weave on our background. And I have scraps aplenty when it comes to Vicki Boutin's color study, because it's one of the ones that I fell in love with first when I went to Joann's. I fell in love with American Crafts and especially Vicki Boutin's color study. So I thought it would be perfect because I have tons and tons of branding strips and I thought that would be great. And of course I'm thinking paper weave, I'm thinking the whole background. So I get out my scraps that are 12 inches long and cut down whatever I can to make that work for me. And I get a black cardstock piece out because some of her papers are white based and I didn't want to have to ink the paper if not necessary. And so the thing about CraftIQ, if you've not done it or watched the videos, is every day she gives you, the first 7 days of the month, she gives you a new layer. And so it could be anything. So I was a little cautious laying these down because she could have said something crazy that made me like pull them up and do something else, like make it monochrome. Well, that would not have worked because, well, this is far from monochrome. So, pardon me, my chair makes some interesting sounds. So I'm just lining out my strips, and you can kind of tell what some of my favorite papers from this collection are because there are 3 branding strips right there for the same dang page. I only end up using, no, I do use all 3 of those. And it's because it's the like spread that looked like a book opening and all the rainbow coming out. It was gorgeous. So I had the project pad and then I had a bunch of the loosey-goosey papers. And I love the text print. I love the butterflies. I mean, like, I just love this collection. So I get those down and I've put some double-sided tape. I measured it on my Fiskars mat behind it. And I put the tape on the top and the bottom. And I start on one corner and I tape that down. And then I go to the next corner. Because I have made plenty of times weaves in the past. And I have like tacked down all of one side. And I'm like, why did I do that? This is ridiculous. Because this has to be tucked and this has to be lifted up. And anyway, so this worked really well for me. I didn't have to go back and fix anything, and I love the way this turned out. Like I said, all the pretty colors, all the happy, and so I get that done, and now we're on to day number 2. Layer 2 is 3 photos, and I am really excited, but I had not picked pictures when I picked these papers, so I wanted to find something fun. And I picked these 3 birthday pictures. I felt like this would be good because there's tons of color in the cupcakes. There's tons of color in the presents. My son's birthday is St. Patrick's Day as well as my niece. So they had green and they had pink and, all the things. So it was very fitting. I trim up my pictures as best as I can. My original plan was to make them all the same size. And then after I cut one of the ones with my niece or the one with my son in the crazy hat, I realized that I had cut those into like a 4x4, but the one of him in the cupcake was not going to trim down like that because I'd have lost the cupcake or his head. Neither one of those sounded like a good idea. So I left it big and decided to put it in the middle. And so then I pull out some scraps to mat. Now this page fully fits into my 2022 goal to use the scrap on every page. I mean, the whole page is scraps except the base page. And I do pull out one 6x8 And that is going to be to scrap that top picture because I didn't have anything big enough that was going to work with what I was trying to accomplish with this layout. So I use a 6x8 paper pad sheet with rainbows on it. So that has all the colors from this collection. And that makes me super happy because then I'm just adding a little bit more color here and there and everywhere. So I get that picture on there and I trim that out. And so when I put these down on the base page, I just use one little swipe of tape because, or double-sided roller tape, because I didn't want to put a ton of adhesive on there because you never know what Jacqie's going to have you do next. And just in case I needed to move my pictures or tuck something in, I left it like that. So there's day number 2. And now day number 3 was incorporating colored cardstock. Now, there is tons of colored cardstock on here, but colored cardstock to me, of course, since I have been schooled in a lot of scrapbook terminology in the last year. So when people say colored cardstock, to me that is a solid cardstock. So I have put down that pink piece of colored cardstock behind the picture of my niece in the bottom. So there's day number 3, layer number 3. And then the next day, our layer request was, got some cork, add it. If you don't, then I think she had like an alternative, but add some cork is what I did. I have a Project Life card set and it's called Salsa. And so it had a lot of Spanish terms and words and phrases and I loved it. I found this tag that I put down here and it says a ton of awesome. It was in the ephemera kit and I thought that would be really, really fitting for this layout. And I decided to pull out this hashtag from my salsa kit. And so now it says hashtag a ton of awesome, which is totally true. And so now I've got my cork on there. So now layer number 5 was to add an element of gold. So to get started, I decided I was going to use some washi. I have this glittery washi from the it's Paper Studio from Hobby Lobby. I was like, what am I doing? I was showing you that some of those papers did not reach the full 12 inches. So I thought this was a perfect way to cover up where it did not meet. And so I used some double-sided tape along the edge of this page. I started at the bottom and then decided I was going to finish it off up at the top as well. And I just take that around straight across the bottom and tack it down as I go. And I do love the way this looks. It just kind of starts and stops the page, adds that gold little flare that I was looking for, masks the spots that did not come all the way to the page or to the end of the page, so it had a gap. And it uses layer number 5, the gold, and that makes me happy. So I get those on there and I am happy with that. So I'm gonna move on to layer number 6. And layer number 6 is to use foam thickers. Now, I had to be careful because I have a lot of foam. I have a lot of chipboard. I have a lot of puffy. So I needed to make sure that it was actually foam. So I pulled this collection of foam thickers out. And I used this one that says smile because they are all smiling. Of course, who wouldn't smile when you got a cupcake in front of you? And I just used some Nuvo Deluxe to get that adhered right above my niece's picture next to my son. And I am thrilled with that title. So I was going to pull some things off of there, but there wasn't anything else that I wanted to add. So now on to the last day. Day number 7, the layer is sequins. So I pulled my little sequins kit out. I do not have a lot of sequins. Most of them are from Hobby Lobby or the Dollar Tree, or even a big huge stash of them from Walmart. I did, however, at the Sandy, State Goddess, will talk about the crystal katana whenever she uses sequins. And I thought, well, I'm starting to get into using more things like that, so that's what I'm going to do. So I ordered myself a crystal katana, and today was the first time I used it, and I love it. It is so much easier to put those little doodads down and not have them stuck on my finger or getting my finger stuck in the glue. It was fabulous, so thank you, Sandy. And then after I get all the sequins down, and I put one in every square. The only square I do not put one in is the one right above the I and the L in smile. I was going to put one there. Oh, I just found another one that doesn't. Well, I'll be fixing that. Don't you worry. But anywho, I didn't want to put them all in the same corners. I wanted to make sure they were kind of spread out. So I mixed it up and did orange, yellow, pink, and green. And because those were the predominant colors in this. And then I got out my gold stickles, and I just put a little dot of gold stickle in the middle of each one of the sequin. So I brought in a little bit more gold. So I watched JQ Crafty's video, and she did not have, well, she did have one final layer as a twist, and it was to have 4 or more pattern papers. And guess what? I have 5 in my strips, so yay! I was very excited that I had accomplished all of my layers. I love the way it turned out. You've got to watch her creation of hers because it is super awesome. So there is my layout, and here are the 7 layers. And then I'm going to show you a close-up of my page. If you are interested in this kind of thing, you should go to Jacqie's CraftIQ Facebook page. And there are the close-ups of the sequins and the strips and all the gold shiny shimmery stuff. There's my cork. There's my foam thickers. And that's it. I hope that you all have enjoyed this. I hope you all come back again for another video very soon. And I hope that you all have a fantastic day. Happy scrapping!